Do you ever feel like navigating food advice is like decoding some secret message? One minute, carbs are lifesavers. The next, they are public enemy number one. Fat was the villain for decades until it wasn't. It is enough to make your head spin. So today, we're cutting through the noise and tackling 10 food myths that might be messing with your health goals and definitely testing your patience. Hi, I'm Rachel. Welcome back to the channel. My goal here is pretty basic, helping you live your healthiest, happiest life in the simplest ways possible. If that sounds like your vibe, hit that subscribe button and we will figure it all out together. I promise to do my best to make it worth your time. To my newer subscribers, this might be a little different from what brought you here, but digging into health myths is a huge part of my post-diagnosis journey. Every piece of the puzzle matters to me now, so I really hope you'll stick around because my topics will vary. Quick disclaimer, I am not a doctor or a dietitian. I am just an open-minded research nerd, a 2-time breast cancer survivor determined to avoid around 3, and someone hell-bent on avoiding diabetes, which runs in my family. I really do have a vested interest in all of the stuff I talk about. I have said it before, I do not care what type of diet you follow. I just want you to choose what works for you, preferably with real whole foods the majority of the time. That said, let's jump into the myths. Myth number 1, carbs are the enemy. Let's stop vilifying carbs. They are not inherently bad. The problem is overdoing refined carbs, not fruit, vegetables, or whole grains. For example, fiber, a carb, regulates blood sugar and feeds your gut microbiome. A 2018 Lancet study showed balanced carb intake supports longevity. While low carb or keto diets work really well for some people, carbs themselves are not the villain. Just be smart about the ones you choose. My eating style tends to lean towards Mediterranean, and because I avoid heavily refined foods, that naturally keeps my carb intake around 100 to 125 grams most days. And yes, I eat potatoes and rice, and I am not giving them up again. Myth number 2, lactose intolerance means no dairy. Lactose intolerance does not mean ditching all dairy unless you have a true milk allergy, which is totally different. Milk allergies involve the immune system, and they can cause severe reactions. Lactose intolerance just means your body has trouble digesting lactose, a sugar found in milk. Most people can actually tolerate lactose-free milk, aged cheeses, yogurt with live cultures like Greek yogurt, butter, kefir, or even a little sour cream. Just a side note, I use plain Greek yogurt in place of sour cream for a protein boost. You really can't tell the difference. Myth number 3, all processed foods are bad. Not all processed foods are created equal. There is a world of difference between minimally processed foods like frozen veggies or ground meat or canned beans and ultra-processed foods like Twinkies. Now, here's a mouthful for you. Let me make sure I get this right. The British Medical Journal defines ultra-processed foods as industrial formulations primarily composed of chemically modified substances extracted from foods along with additives to enhance taste, texture, appearance, and durability with minimal to no inclusion of whole foods. Doesn't that make them sound just absolutely appetizing? Are they delicious? Absolutely. Are they good for you? Not even a little. Those are the foods you need to limit. Myth number 4, wheat bread or brown bread is always healthier. Labels can be really deceiving. Many of the wheat breads are basically just white bread with a little whole wheat flour mixed in. Technically, most bread is wheat bread because flour comes from wheat. For healthier options, look for 100% whole grain or 100% whole wheat on the label. Sprouted breads like Ezekiel bread are excellent options. They're nutrient dense and they are easier to digest. Sourdough is another great choice if it's real. Authentic sourdough uses natural fermentation, which supports your gut health and has just a few ingredients: flour, water, salt, and maybe a starter culture. But beware of mass-produced sourdough, which usually relies on yeast and flavorings. Myth number 5, you need 8 glasses of water daily. This myth has been repeated so often it feels like a rule, but hydration is not one size fits all. Factors like activity level, diet, and climate determine how much water you actually need. And fruits and veggies contribute to your hydration too, so you might need less than you think. Honestly, a really good tip, pay attention to your thirst and the color of your urine. If it's darker than straw, drink up. Myth number 6, fat is bad for you. Fat is not your enemy, I promise. It is all about knowing which fats to focus on and which ones to limit. The good fats, monounsaturated fats like the ones in avocados, olive oil, and nuts are your heart's best friend. They help lower bad cholesterol and keep your cardiovascular system happy. Polyunsaturated fats, including omega-3s, like found in salmon and walnuts and flax seeds, are brain boosters. They help reduce inflammation and support overall health. The ones you need to watch out for are trans fats. You'll find them in fried foods, baked goods, and anything with partially hydrogenated oils. They raise your bad cholesterol and lower the good. Basically, it's a lose-lose situation. Now, saturated fats are kind of a gray area. In moderation, they are fine, especially when it comes from whole, real foods like butter or red meat. Those foods tend to be more nutrient dense and they don't come with the extra junk added like fats, salt, or sugar. But when saturated fats are hiding in ultra-processed foods, those are best avoided if you can. Myth number 7, natural sugars are better. At the end of the day, sugar is sugar. Honey, maple syrup, and coconut sugar might have a slightly lower glycemic index than regular sugar, but they affect your body in pretty much the same way. While they may not spike your blood sugar as quickly and they may have a few more nutrients, the difference isn't drastic. If you are looking to avoid blood sugar spikes, consider alternatives like stevia or monk fruit or allulose. They are great options, especially for people managing diabetes or insulin resistance. Just remember, moderation is key with any sweetener. Personally, I am a fan of a monk fruit allulose blend that I get on Amazon, and I put monk fruit liquid drops in my coffee every day. When it comes to natural artificial sweeteners, I try to avoid them. That is my personal choice, and here's why. A review of 37 studies linked artificial sweeteners to health concerns like weight gain, obesity, and gut microbiome damage. Plus, the World Health Organization found that long-term use could actually increase the risk of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. For me, it's not worth the risk. Myth number 8, natural foods are always healthy. You know, the term natural on food labels is pretty much meaningless here in the US. It is mostly a marketing gimmick. A natural granola bar might still be loaded with ultra-processed ingredients, added sugars, and unhealthy fats. You know, just focus on short, recognizable ingredient lists instead. Myth number 9, small, frequent meals boost metabolism. This one is short and sweet. Meal quality matters more than frequency. Whether you eat 3 meals or 6, just focus on balanced meals with protein, healthy fats, and complex carbs. A 2017 study found that meal frequency does not significantly affect your metabolism, and other studies have continued to back this up. Just do what works for you. Myth number 10, all protein sources are equal. Animal proteins like chicken, beef, fish, and eggs are complete proteins, meaning they provide all 9 essential amino acids that your body cannot produce on its own. Plant proteins usually lack 1 or more amino acids, but combining foods like rice and beans can create a complete profile. Soy and quinoa are complete plant-based proteins, and they are great if you are cutting back on meat for health or financial reasons. You know, we need complete proteins for muscle repair, hormone production, and our overall health. If you're opting for animal proteins, just remember that the leaner the cut, the higher the animal protein content. For example, chicken breast has more protein than chicken thighs, but chicken thighs offer up much more flavor. So combine them in meals for the best of both worlds. Same principle applies to beef. Leaner cuts like sirloin pack more protein, while fattier cuts provide richer flavors. I'm going to give you a bonus myth since I mentioned it. Soy is bad for you. You know, soy gets a really bad rap, especially when it comes to hormones and cancer risk. The myth stems from soy's phytoestrogens, plant compounds that mimic estrogen. But instead of acting like estrogen in your body, they can actually block the stronger human estrogen from attaching to health cells in some cases. This misunderstanding led to fears about hormone-driven cancers. But a 2020 review put out by the American Institute on Cancer Research found soy is not only safe, but it may actually reduce the risk of breast cancer recurrence in survivors. This is especially true for women with hormone receptor positive cancers like mine. Soy is rich in nutrients like protein, fiber, and omega-3 fatty acids, making it a fantastic addition to a balanced diet. Just stick to whole soy, organic if you can, like edamame, tempeh, tofu, miso, and soy milk. And avoid the highly processed soy isolates. They do not offer the same benefits. After my first diagnosis, I didn't touch anything soy related because of all the myths. But once I started digging into the research, I realized how much misinformation was out there. So now I've added it to my diet. Now I love roasted edamame and a little unsweetened soy milk in my coffee. Got any thoughts or myths to add? Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button and give me a follow. Thanks for watching. As always, take care of you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.